No part has been taken out, and nothing has been added to the story. Pay close attention as I proceed with the reading. I had a car accident 2 months ago. This happened while I was coming back from work. Even though it wasn't so severe, I sustained a few injuries on my head and my chest. The most interesting thing is, many people in the past have been involved in ghastly accidents on the same spot I had mine, but they died. Yet, because I have God on my side, I survived mine. After I was hit down by the car, I was rushed to the hospital. I spent a few days at the hospital, and on the 3rd day before I was discharged, I had this dream. Well, I do not even know if I have to describe this as a dream or vision, but I will tell you what I saw. Please, forgive me for this, because I am finding it hard to remember some parts of the dream. But I will try my best to remember exactly what I saw. Allow me to say this first. Something quite strange happened at the hospital before the dream event took place. The last nurse that attended to me before I slept off said something strange before she left. I do not know if she was talking to me or not, but this actually got me confused and kept me thinking the whole night. She said this: the present is only known to us, yet we can bear, but we do not know tomorrow. She said this in a very down tone while she walked out of the wardroom. And the craziest thing is, after I had the dream, the next morning, I tried looking for her, but surprisingly, there was no trace or records of her in the hospital. That night, after I had prayed, I lay down silently on my bed while thinking of what the lady said, if what she said had anything to do with me. But after a while, something weird took me off, and I felt like I was far away from the hospital. Well, I strongly believe something took place after my spirit was moved from the hospital, but I do not remember that part. The next thing I saw was, I was standing on the bank of a river. The river was very big and large. The color of it was pure white. Then suddenly, I saw so many bubbles begin to pop out of it. It looked like the river was boiling. I heard so many noises of people around, but I couldn't see anyone with my eyes. It was just me by myself. Then suddenly, strong winds were blowing from the river. Then I saw a wild creature coming out from the waters. It looked like a dinosaur. It was very big. It had a long neck, and the head looked like a beast, but it had a reptile body that looked the same as a dinosaur. It made a loud scream like it was crying, and this really shook the ground I was standing on. It brought fear and panic in me, but after a while, I saw it move away. Then the next thing I remember seeing was the creature had appeared at some place, which looked like a city, and it was filled by so many humans, both young and old. The dinosaur screamed very loud this time, and it shook the city so badly that it caused an earthquake in the city. Then I saw something moved into the sky by the wind. It looked like a slate, and I saw bold writings on it. I saw 4 numbers, 2, 0, 2, 3 with a hyphen. After the hyphen, the next word was an earthquake. When the earthquake occurred, so many terrible things occurred in the city. I saw buildings collapse. I saw so many car accidents, and so many people died. A lot of people were trapped and killed during the earthquake. It continued for a while, and it stopped. During all this time, the creature stood there and watched what was going on. Then after the earthquake had stopped, the dinosaur poured out something like a fire into the city. No one in the city saw it, but I was the only one seeing it. After it did this terrible thing, it flew away. In the dream, the creature looked happy after it did that, and it laughed while it flew away. After the fire was poured out in the city, it was as if the whole world was put in hell. It felt as if it was the beginning of an endless hardship and suffering. There was economic hardship, and prices of every consumable products were highly increased, and I saw so many shop owners hiding their products from buyers they hid for their own personal interest. They restricted people from buying at the time, because they were waiting for higher prices. People became so greedy at the expense of others. People had money but were not able to find what they wanted. During this time, I saw the slate appear in the sky again, and this time around, I saw the same numbers, 2, 0, 2, 3, followed by economic hardship. After all this, there was famine. There were shortages of food everywhere, and I saw women and children suffer the most. The famine was so severe that people grew lean and pale. I was moved from where I stood to a different place, and I saw civil wars and conflicts among nations. I saw people who were located on the east side of the city, and they were infected with a strange illness. It had a widespread through a single bite of the other. The whole city was completely turned upside down. There was no happiness nor peace. Every single household was filled with pain and grief. Despite all this, so many people were involved in disgusting and sinful behaviors. Prostitution and same-sex marriage were on the rise, and it became common everywhere. There was such intense violence everywhere. The hearts of people were filled with anger, hatred, and greed. Love was only found among the few. Then I heard a loud voice from the sky. It was a male voice, and the voice said, "I know my children. I know my children. I know my children." The voice said this several times with a deep and a thunder-striking voice. Then the voice came again and said, "The days for repentance and salvation are numbered. Whoever repents and seeks salvation now will truly be saved. My love for everyone is the same. I do not discriminate. There is no more joy and peace in the world, but my kingdom is filled with the excess of true happiness, peace, joy, and eternal love." Then I woke up. Sincerely and truthfully speaking, there were so many terrible things I saw happen in the city, which I